wondered what under the earth had happened to her. Thorns and thistles! Could the thunderstorm really have come up instead of down? Certainly it was raining up, and whatever was carrying her aloft with such terrible force and relentlessness? How could the Goat Girl know that a turbulent spring pent up for thousands of years in the center of Mount Mern had suddenly burst its way to freedom? And you have no idea of the tremendous power in a mountain spring once it uncoils and lets itself go. Mandy's rock might just as well have been shot into the air by a magic cannon. First it tore upward as if it meant to knock a hole in the sky, then, still traveling at incalculable speed, began to arch and take a horizontal course over the mountains, hills, and valleys west of Mern. All poor Mandy knew was that she was hurtling through space at breakneck speed with nothing to save or stop her. The long yellow braids of the Goat Girl streamed out like pennants, while her striped shirt and voluminous petticoats snapped and fluttered like banners in the wind. "What a butter! Oh, what a butter!" moaned Mandy, gazing wildly over the edge of the rock. But pshaw! What was the use of calling? What a butter, even if she heard, could not fly after her through the air, and when she herself came down, not even her own goat would recognize her. At this depressing thought, Mandy dropped her head on her arms and began to weep bitterly, for she was quite sure she would never see her friends, her home, or her goats again. But the rough and frugal life on Mount Mern had made the Goat Girl both brave and resourceful, so she soon dried her tears, and as the rock still showed no sign of slowing up nor dashing down, she began to take heart and even a desperate sort of interest in her experience. Slowly and cautiously she pulled herself to a sitting position and, still clutching the edges of the rock, dared to look down at the countries and towns flashing away below. "After all," sniffed the reckless maiden, "nothing very dreadful has happened yet. I've always wanted to travel, and now I am traveling. Not many people have flown through the air on a rock. Why, it's really a rocket," decided Mandy with a nervous giggle. "And that, I suppose, makes me the first rocket rider in the country. And the last, too," she finished soberly, as she measured with her eye the distance she would plunge when her rock started earthward. "Now, if we'd just come down in that blue lake below, I might have a chance. Perhaps I could jump." But by the time Mandy made up her mind to jump, the lake was far behind and nothing but a great desert of smoking sand stretched beneath her. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2 of Handy Mandy and Oz by Ruth Plumly Thompson. Chapter 2. The End of the Ride. The sky, from the rosy pink of late afternoon, had faded to a depressing gray, and Mandy could not help thinking longingly of the appetizing little supper she had set out for herself before going up to call the goats. Who would eat it now, or even know she was flying through the air like a comet? No one, she concluded drearily, for Mandy was an orphan and lived all by herself in a small cottage on Mount Mern, high above the village of Fistickins. In a day or two, some of her friends in the village might search the cottage and find her gone, but now there was nothing to do but sit tight and hope for the best. Mandy's next glance down was more encouraging. Instead of the dangerous-looking desert, she was sailing over misty blue hills and valleys, dotted with many small towns and villages. High as she was, she could even hear the church bells tolling the hour, and this made Mandy feel more lost and lonely than ever. All these people below were safely at home and about to eat their suppers, while she was flying high and far from everything she knew and loved best.